Welcome, everybody, to the Book of X. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'm going to give you my thoughts and impressions on South of Midnight. So, South of Midnight is the latest game from Compulsion Games and their first major game released under Xbox Game Studios. And the big question was asked, could Compulsion Games take themselves to the next level underneath the tutoring of Xbox? And I think the answer to that is a resounding success. So the previous games from Compulsion Games were We Happy Few, and contrast, much smaller games in scope. We Happy Few wanted to be a larger game, but due to budgetary constraints, couldn't achieve its full potential, trying to be the next BioShock. But here we have South of Midnight, which takes a very different approach. It's a stop-motion style video game in the vein of films like Coraline, James and the Giant Peach, Corpse Bride, and so on. But primarily from the main character's perspective, the rest of the game does run at a smooth 60 frames per second. But it's set in the America's Deep South, following the folklore of that particular area. Now, this is a region of the world I don't have much experience with outside of a few films here and there. So this was a very interesting world to just dive in and explore. And the stories that this game chooses to tell are absolutely gripping, and the character performances are fantastic. So our lead protagonist is a girl named Hazel, who goes on an adventure to try and get back her mother after events early in the film means that she loses track of her mother. But along the way, she encounters a series of interesting characters, ranging from talking giant catfish to building-sized alligators and additional ones that I won't explain what they are too much for the risk of spoiling it if you haven't experienced it yourselves. But what really was intriguing to me here was how dark and mature the story was. It is not a whimsical tale being presented here. Now, whilst the stories we're seeing are fantastical, they're all rooted in real life sad stories, ranging from kidnapping, families being separated, regret, remorse, death, and so on. And all of these themes all gel together into what was a fantastic story experience. Now, the game took me about 12 hours to complete, but that was with me exploring every single area, picking up every item so that I could upgrade every combat mechanic in the game, and also making sure that I had full health. Now, if there's one area on this game that has suffered a bit of controversy, I would say is the combat side of things. But I didn't have too much of an issue with the combat. I thought the combat was relatively straightforward for what it needed to be in this game, not the same as Hellblade 2 was. The difference with this game versus something like Hellblade 2 was there is the ability to upgrade and expand your skill set. There are items around the world called floofs, and as you pick them up, they allow you to spend them onto abilities so that you can get heavier attacks and specific skill sets. So the answer to how deep is this combat is quite simply how much are you willing to explore? Because the more you're willing to explore, the more you can upgrade. So that, along with the traversal mechanics, I thought the gameplay was very smooth, very enjoyable, and fit the tone of this particular game that I wanted to experience. The game also ran very smoothly at solid 60 frames per second, even though Hazel is running in 24. It's a nice contrast in how the game is sort of presented to you. Now, I've mentioned that the characters were intriguing, the story was intriguing, and what I thought on the combat and traversal. But the real winner of this game is the music. The musical score of this game is absolutely incredible. It adds so much character, so much layers to the story, and becomes a narrative piece in itself. Like, you listen to the lyrics of the songs, and it's explaining the stories of the characters in front of you. This became particularly evident sort of in the first few chapters when you're dealing with a character named Benji, and the lyrics of that track explain to you the sorrow and heartbreak that this family have gone through to end up where they are, but of course convey to you in a fantastical way, because Sometimes it's obvious in this game. Sometimes portraying things in a fantastical element is easier than dealing with the core truth of the issue, which is a lot more upsetting when you're presented with the real facts. Now, how does Hazel fit into this? Now, Hazel comes from a line of weavers, and these are people who are able to see beyond sort of the actual standard world and the ability to control various magic, so that they're able to sort of protect the realm of the South in many ways. Now, whilst the game does explain various aspects of how Hazel fits into this, I feel like this is part of a much larger story that we have yet to sort of experience, which I would really like to experience in a sequel, because these characters were very intriguing. Hazel was a fantastic character, and this world just is begging to be explored further with other sort of what's the word to say, broken souls that are in need of saving, or sort of allowing them to come to terms with the troubles of their past. So with this game wrapped up, where would I put this game sort of on a scale of sort of a 1 to 10 scale? I would personally put this at a solid 9, just from the experience alone. So 9 for myself would be an amazing title. Yes, some people could take critiques with certain aspects of it, but as the package itself that is presented to you as a whole, I just couldn't wait to keep going through this game, and I was devastated when it ended, because the story was just so well done, and the game just shepherded you through the game in such a wonderful way that the entire game was a pleasure. There's even if you sort of take various areas of critique on this game, it doesn't take away from the package as a whole. The only thing that would have made this game a 10 is if it would have been a sort of a longer experience exploring other additional characters, just to keep me in that world longer. But I appreciate it's a much smaller title, and this now works as a great platform for Compulsion to build on, should they wish to build on going into the future. So do let me know in the comments. Have you played South of Midnight yourselves? What did you think? Do you agree with the opinion I had today, or was it totally contrasting? Totally fine if you do. Everybody has what they like, and everybody has what they don't like. So do let me know. But with that, guys, that's the end of my video today. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit the like button, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. But thanks for taking the time to listen, and I'll catch you on the other side.